With all due respect, yeah, we support Manchester United, not the players.
Maguire, all these guys need to go. Varane, all of these guys I would have to see go.
The reality of them is their limitations.
Yo, it's your boy H Black the Sauce, Harry Pinero, and welcome back to the Inside Scoop, of course, with my co-host, the one and only Culture Cams. But today we have got a special person in the middle. As you can see, he's sporting that vintage Manchester United with Wayne Rooney on the back. That's good days. That's when things were happy.
Why is it on the back?
Come on, bro.
That's why I was like, oh, you've met?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
because
I just wanted to
just interviewed him. We signed frame for.
But that's nothing to brag about. No, that's nothing to brag about. You must have seen him on SDS. The reason why I got him on today, not only because he's my brother, but he spoke about Paul Scholes in a way that genuinely, I don't think the creators of the English language would have been able to create it even better than that. Eloquently spoken, and spoke with a je ne sais quoi, some would say. Yeah. Some would say you are a football purist, along the lines of the greatest to ever speak about the game.
Wow.
The one and only Albert Quest is in the building right now.
So much. It's a big honor. Big honor for me, a platform like this.
Great.
What the boys have built is incredible. I'm just honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'll pay him to say that. But obviously, as you can see, he's wearing a Man United shirt. We're three Manchester United fans, so it's only right that we discuss Man United.
Well, there's the energy out of the room.
Yeah. It was high, and I can bring it down off the video now. Back down. Man United, 1 win out of 6. 4 penalties conceded in our last 6 games.
That's crazy.
Top 4's officially done. There's no way that we can win it.
Is it Leroy Sané anyway?
Yeah, no. I met him at Old Trafford when them. Speaking of losing, when Bayern Munich beat us at Old Trafford. Yeah. Just to sign one. And Musiala's one, but I didn't want to break it. But I don't want to brag. Manchester United right now. So the current state is that we can't play in Champions League. We potentially we're in a situation where we could play in the Europa Conference League right now, which is way beyond Man United as a football club. We've never done that before. And then, there's been a lot of talks about, Ten Hag's future. The way we're playing is really, really bad. With Brentford, we should have lost that game. Burnley played way better than us at Old Trafford. Sheffield United, it was another tough game. Chelsea, we threw it away. So there's been a lot of bad performances. Now with Ten Hag, there's a lot of questions about his club. And then we just literally spoke off air about Bruno Fernandes not actually saying if he'll be here this season, right? Also, there was a statement yesterday about, the club are getting rid of the CFOs, CEOs, and they're going to add in Jean-Claude Van Damme to the team right now, In your opinion, where are Man United right now, and where are they going to be after the season is done? Because it seems as if we're going to have probably one of the worst ends to our season ever. We could potentially lose all games and a final.
What is it? Crystal Palace, Arsenal, Newcastle, Brighton. Those are the games.
Tough fixtures for United, because we made the two clubs at the bottom of the table right now look like they were counterparts, unfortunately. But just with United as a whole, these Jean-Claude, like you mentioned, is going to be interim CEO from now until Omar Barada comes in the summer. We like to see the moves that happen, because we have to look forward to something, because there's nothing to look forward to on the pitch at this point in time. It was a while ago where I just said, you have to try and go for results. I remember early in 2024 when we started, we had a couple good results, and it's just like, just do whatever you just do something to get the results. The reality is the way that we play football just allows other teams to play better than us. They create more chances than us. We take how many shots on target in a game. It's just a very, very bad season for Manchester United. The future we have to try and take some brightness out of it. The fact that Ineos are making moves in very, very important positions. I think Roger Bell is the guy that they brought in as the CFO for the future. So we'll have to wait and see what they do. But the impact on that, we're not going to see the fruits of for a couple of years. And to be fair, even to Ineos, they're not going to get it all right from the beginning. Like the reality of the United is that they are going to have a teething period where we expect things to for them to struggle themselves. But the manager role is the main decision that they do have to take in the summer. I'm not the kind of person, and Cams will know this, that I don't really go out and say manager out all this. I don't really push that narrative heavy. I think he's done probably his best job to try and get sacked in this season towards the end of it as well. He's done a decent job of it. But we'll see what the future holds for Man United. They're linked with Thomas Tuchel. We spoke about that on the watch along as well. And he's probably the most experienced and the best manager available in the market, if we're being honest. But it's not looking good for the future.
In your opinion, Cams, do you think it's fair for Ten Hag to be, you know, sacked or even conversations about his future when it has not been as, you know, organised upstairs as it has been for other clubs? And then also, he did such an incredible job last season. This season is obviously like all the cracks are being shown right now. Players are not playing well. It seems as if there's been a loss of power in the changing room than there was in the beginning of the season. And also, we haven't given him a chance with this new ownership, should I say. Is it fair?
I mean, it's a tough job. Everyone knows Man United is probably the toughest job in football at the moment, because I said it on FCM, but when you're, we're probably the top 5 most recognizable brands in the world, right? You can even include non-football.
Other sports,
You can include anything. It's non-sport. We're probably up there with Apple, Google, and all of that. Coca-Cola and that, literally, right? So to be part of that, that's failing. Imagine if Apple now, all its stock started crashing. Do you know how much the CEO or whoever's in charge will be under pressure? All of a sudden, you'll know about his personal life. You'll know about... I don't know who he is now. I only knew Steve Jobs. Do you know what I mean? But you would know everything if it started collapsing. And to be the face of that, to be kind of not responsible, but you're a part of that, whoever comes in is going to be facing such a tough, difficult job. So on that respect, I feel sorry for every single manager we've had, not just Ten Hag. I feel sorry for every single one. But the reality is you signed up to it. You knew you were signing up to it. You didn't walk into the job, then you're surprised. Like, what's going on here? You knew it's well documented what Manchester United are. If me, you, and you know what Man United are, you think Ten Hag doesn't. You think his staff doesn't. You think his agent doesn't. So on that part, I don't feel sorry for him. But look, when people say, for example, he should stay and then we should, with a new ownership, and we'll see what happens. But I haven't seen that really happen before in a case where there's a manager that's struggling, new owners come in with their new plans, new ideas, and say, oh, but we're going to make it work with you. I haven't really seen that. Instantly, managers, owners, whether it's right or wrong, they make a change. Some have gone wrong. For example, Tuchel at Chelsea. Bowley probably should have been like, all right, let's just... he's won us the Champions League just a year ago. Let's relax. It went the other way. But listen, that's what new owners do. They come and make big decisions. When Perez comes and takes over, he brings in a new manager. That's just what happens at football clubs. So I think he will lose his job. And can we really say that, like, it's not justified in a way? Is it not just... Last season, you just mentioned he finished 3rd, right? He had this fan base eaten from the palm of his hands, bro.
Remember the Barcelona game?
This fan base... bro, I was at that game. Bro, I was at, you were at that game. So, bro, he had the fan base in a problem. He went against Cristiano Ronaldo, our legend. We all grew up on Cristiano.
And we backed him.
And he got backed. Cristiano, and he got back. The fan base were eating a palm of his hand. And this year, he's just let it all slip. Let's be honest, he's let it all slip. So, in a way, it's his fault too.
There's context.
Yeah.
There is context that we can't ignore.
What's the context?
The amount of injuries that he's had is unprecedented.
Yeah.
And that will definitely affect your performances, but it shouldn't affect the performances as much as it had on the football pitch. So when we've seen other managers, and I don't like comparing projects because United, as Cam's mentioning, is it's a whole new kettle of fish. But we've seen from different managers, when they don't have players, even their replacements play in a way that is identifiable to that manager. Unfortunately with Ten Hag is that I've had so many different plans throughout the season, and you would have seen me on the timeline as well. You would have seen me as well. It's like, oh, I see signs. First 45 minutes against Wolves away. Oh, this is something. I stopped. I gave up. The reason I gave up is because I saw 45 minutes here, and I never saw it again. So it's not two. There's not 2 cases, even 2 games back to back, where I saw periods in a game where I can say, okay, this is what you were trying to do. Fine. Bro, who can back manage? I was backing Ollie. I'll back you, bro. I'm ready to back you. But I have to have credit, something to hold on to. And I felt like towards this, especially in 2024, I began to lose that with Ten Hag.
I agree with what you're both saying. I think 2 people can both be right in this situation, and I think this is it. I think, like Cam said, what it takes to be a Manchester United manager, I don't think people know that pressure. It is a different ball game. Even when you speak to players that have just signed for Man United, they say, you know, at my previous clubs, losing a game isn't that much of a pressure in terms of from the fan base and from the media. But with United, everything is scrutinised.
Heavy shirt.
My issue I have with Ten Hag is that the manager that we signed from Ajax had an identity that was so good, and it worked with Ajax. Now, I think that was because Ajax have always been a footballing club.
Exactly.
So all the managers that have been there have essentially bought into the system that has already been in place, right?
Yeah.
Then we saw him go to a final, but then he's come to United and he's tried to implement something. And in the first few games, we lost them, and then we started playing a different way of counter-attacking football. But then the aim was to control games.
Yeah.
I found this season that our issue has been we don't know how to control games. We don't have game management. Is this a Ten Hag problem, or are the players responsible for the lack of control in games? Because for a lot of the games, I feel like I've seen issues happen, and I think this ain't Ten Hag's fault. Yeah, you can coach this, and you can tell someone to do that. I'm sure he's saying control the game. Yeah, but then the players are they don't lack that. I mean, they lack that ability. So my question is, do we blame the players for what Ten Hag is trying to implement and it's not working because of their lack of mentality? Because how many players can we say have had a great season this season? Maybe 3, if that. So that's my question.
I think it's both. I think you can go both, and that's the one thing that I keep looking at this fan base. And when I say, I think Ten Hag should go, and I might put a clip out and it goes out, people seem to just think Ten Hag goes and all of a sudden we turn into a title challenging team. No, it's both. You know what I mean? It's both. But listen, last season, as you mentioned, we got to a decent position last year, which some could say it's a fake reality maybe because Liverpool were not about, and Chelsea, okay, we expected Chelsea to be better and they're still not better, so I guess we can rule them out. But Spurs had an off year as well. So some people can say maybe last year we caught a bit of life, but last year, the reason why we were we'll say a decent team was because we played to the strengths of these players. This team is made for counter-attacking football, bro. Do you know what I mean? We played to the low block, which suits Varane, which suits Lissandro, which suits Maguire, right? We played to the counter-attacking football, which suits Bruno, which suits Rashford. You know what I mean? So this type of stuff that we did suited them players. And them players, as a collective, yes, if they're playing to their strength, they're a top 4-ish team, right? That's fine. This season, he's tried to... But that's not the Ten Hag we know. So last year was just results mode. This year, the reason why I'm so onto him is because now it's time for, not saying he didn't coach last year, but now it's time to implement, and it's gone completely tits up. And also what we got to say is, yes, the players are not capable of certain things. I don't think these players are. Casemiro's not a controller, is he? Do you know what I mean? Bruno's not a controller, is he? No. Rashford doesn't really, he's not a ball dominant kind of winger. So we don't have players that are suited to it. But the thing is, the players that are suited to it, he leaves on the bench.
Name them.
Amad Diallo.
There's Ahmad. We can laugh at Amrabat as much as we want. But Amrabat can at least
had one of the highest,
ball a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mason Mount, okay, he's had injuries. He doesn't want to play him. Obviously, we've got Kobbie Mainoo playing. But what he does for me is he doesn't utilize the squad, in my opinion, well enough for what he wants to do. Because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, why has he not at some stage then, at this season, just been like, do you know what? We're just going to go back to the low block, revert it. I need to keep my job and we're going to go this way. He's still doing the forwards press. Midfielders do nothing. Defenders are like a million miles away. There's the size of the gap in Old Trafford is unbelievable in the middle of the park. Do you know what I mean? So I think he's mismanaging the squad as well. But that does not mean that these players are levels. A lot of these players need to go. There's comfort for different reasons. High wages, age, whether you're washed, comfort levels. There's so much that needs to take place. And that's why we have a lifeline with new ownership. We have a lifeline. But do the new owner's vision align with Ten Hag's? We're all sitting here saying Ten Hag he might look at it and be like, I don't want to stay. He might be like that. I don't want to stay. They're coming with this. I signed a contract where it says that I'm going to be responsible for transfers.
That was going to be my next question.
Now you get these Donnies like, brother, you don't touch. Don't even touch You're not even going to be about. He might even be like, this isn't what I signed up for. So at the same time, a lot is going on at the club at the moment. And look, we always speak as Man United fans. And I see other platforms speak about everyone. We don't have the answers, bro. And that's what this fan base needs to accept. We as fans don't have the answers, bro.
Do you know what I find confusing is that like most clubs, top clubs, they have a relationship with their fan bases. So when I look at Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, for example, Steve McManaman said yesterday for the game, the 2-2 draw, was how classy the clubs are and how much of a family club they are, which means that there is a relationship. So whatever's happening in the club, you understand it happens and you're a part of it, that the fans are involved. I feel like there's a massive distance between the fans and the club.
That is because they're fan owned as well, though. They're part fan owned.
But my point is, Manchester United, even before that, it was like that. When Fergie was there, and I know we speak about Fergie a lot, but he was the one that made the club even though it wasn't, but the fans felt like they were part of it. There's been so much of a distance and everything is such a secret that we find out stuff through leaks. And I don't want my club to be a club that is associated with leaks, but that's the way we find out information. So be it, right? But then for Ten Hag, I feel like why I have lost faith in him is be honest. Don't tell me that my team played incredibly well.
Oh my God,
when close. I can see with my eyes that 90 minutes we were trailing and we was the second best team on the field. Don't say to us that, you know, we still have a chance to win the get into the Champions League when you know deep down in your heart of hearts. Like I always say, I said this last week, I said the reason why I am a fan of Arteta is because he had a similar start with Arsenal where no one really believed in him. He had players that weren't the best. When I looked at his starting lineup, his first starting lineup, only one of those players remained in that club. Well, two actually, Nelson and Saka. But he's had to do that because there was belief in him. And every game he would say, we wasn't good enough. We wasn't good enough. That allows the fans to be on your back, to be part of the belief system. To buy into it. But now the reason why I feel like the fan base is going against him is because it's like someone taking money from your pocket and saying, I didn't take it. Like, that is what it is. Do you feel like if Ten Hag was a bit more honest and a bit more vulnerable, and instead of him being a bit more like stern, that we would be less inclined to say he needs to go?
Potentially. With Ten Hag, you're right, the quotes completely drive me mad. I can't stress to you guys how I watch 90 minutes of football and then he says we played fantastic and there were good performances and I'm just like, really? Like I prefer silence. Silence is better. Like just say we didn't. Just don't even comment on the performance and talk about the result. At least do something that at least there's some truth to. So I do think there's a point in that. With Ten Hag in these 2 years, we credited, and I think rightly, I don't want to. Sometimes we look back at history and say, oh no, we got it all wrong. But I think we were right to credit him for his adaptability in the first season, where he did lose the game against Brentford and the game against Brighton, and then decided to change. Imagine those seasons were flipped. Where this season is the season where he's actually gone and said, come hell or high water, I'm going to try and implement my style of football. And then we wouldn't expect, because like Cam's just saying right now, where was the point this season where he said, this is clearly not working? Because you've shown us that you have this awareness. You see when things are going wrong. So then why didn't you change it the way that you changed it last season? There's so many different things. I want to touch something that Cam said as well. The profiling of some of these players is a joke.
That he's contributed to.
Ericsson in a counter-attacking team.
Ericsson's, Casemiro's. What are you trying to build here?
It doesn't make any sense. The squad, and I do want to touch on the player and the manager thing as well. There definitely has to be an onus on some of these players because they just there's so many deficiencies in their technical level. I think the technical floor of Man United is so low. I think the physical aspect of Manchester United is also something that isn't spoken about enough because we don't like. We have Bruno who runs who clocks up the amount of kilometers, but we also don't have the profiles of players to be in a style of football that requires high physical level because they're running like we saw Kobe. I remember one game where he was running at 80 yards at like the 90th minute. It's like,
but that's why we suit a low block.
Absolutely, and it would have made sense for him to be in his second season if you see. Let's say he had it this year, last year. And then it would be tough, but you wouldn't get rid of a manager in his first year. And then you saw him actually suit the style of play of the players that he has in his squad. Something about Ten Hag as well that we need to realise as well. That Ajax job, it was similar to what Ineos are proposing right now, where it's the signings would be dealt with by Overmars and Van der Sar, and you would basically be in charge of coaching. He was blessed with some youngsters that had already come through at that point. De Ligt was already through. Van der Beek was already through. He did obviously contribute to that squad. But he's the kind of manager that allows players to figure things out on the football pitch. He's come out there. We know that about Ten Hag, where he's the kind of person who gives the freedom to players to make decisions on the football pitch. But the reality is with the players that we have, you have to realize that there's so many deficiencies that you have to work to what's best to them. And we have to be, the reality of United is that we're a counter.
But the crazy thing is, like, I would probably say, yeah, I'm not the same as like every other fan, yeah, when it comes to like what you look for in a manager. I don't know what's just one word. What's the one thing you look for in a manager?
Character.
Mostly. That's like me.
Yeah,
what
character.
about you?
I need to believe in you, bro.
Like, just honesty.
Yeah, there we go. So basically,
Like,
personality traits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's exactly what it is for me. Like, right. So when I look at a manager, I always just, bro, you could be a dud manager, yeah. I don't want to call Sam Allardyce a dud. He's not a dud manager, right? But whether you like his football or not, he's talking some stuff and you're believing in his stuff. And whether if I'm a relegation team, I think I'm going to go beat Man United next week. I think I'm going to go beat prime Chelsea. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like if Sam Allardyce is my manager. Yeah. But Ten Hag doesn't give you that feeling. Do you know what I mean? And as you're saying, we're all watching week in, week out the same mistakes. Jamie Carragher's doing a whole great Monday Night Football piece on it. You're saying he's chatting rubbish. We're all watching it. Bro, you're slapping us in the face, bro. You're telling us we're all idiots. Yeah, and that's what I don't like about it. Like, you're telling us we're all idiots. And some people are going to say, well, when he finally did speak out, Jadon Sancho kicked off. And listen, that is a player issue. We have got a player issue in the club, but one thing people need to stop acting, I know, is let's stop acting like that was an isolated situation where he just randomly said it and it's a build-up. It's a build-up of many things, and that's where it led to. Do you get where I'm coming from? So when I'm seeing, for example, Thomas Tuchel just not called out, but he just said Kim made two clear mistakes. He was basically too hungry. He was too excited for both moments. And people are saying, well, he couldn't do that at United because of Sancho. I'm like, people, come on. Like, he doesn't have, let's be realistic here. We're being childish, you know what I mean? Thinking it's parallel. But the thing about him,
Tuchel could do that at United, though.
I think he could, because firstly, the difference is these owners are making it clear we're in charge here. Yeah. These new owners, Glazers, we don't know what the hell goes on, bro. Murto, Richard we don't know. But in your Sir Jim's out here talking at marathons. Sir Jim's out here talking at always, bro. These lot are fronting it. Yeah. They're gonna front it. So no matter what Tuchel does, it's gonna be like, this is our manager who we're backing. Do you get where I'm coming from? Yeah. So he will be able to, they're gonna give the power for him to be able to do these things. We'll handle the back stuff. You handle the pitch stuff. And I think that is what it needs to be. It needs to be all streamlined. It feels right now, which it maybe isn't fair on Ten Hag, that he doesn't really feel like he has the backing from above. It's never really felt like he did.
Yeah, there's definitely disconnect.
He does something and then you're seeing rumors and you're seeing like leaks that, they're having to call a meeting between Ten Hag and this and sort it out and undermining him a little bit. And it's all a mess. Yeah. What it needs to be is the owners are like, this is our guy. Regardless, and this is what we're gonna do. It's simple as that. And yes, Ten Hag hasn't had that, but at the same time, going back to the football side of things, he hasn't given enough, in my opinion, for us to believe in him. He hasn't, and we have to be honest about that. We're gonna talk about We're gonna talk about players.
That was gonna be
100%. We need to talk about players because many of them have been there. But Ten Hag, I don't know how many excuses we can keep giving. The injuries are bad.
Yeah, historically
but goodness me, bro. And does he contribute to these injuries, by the way? Because he does say sometimes it's the price to pay for the intensity of training.
Do you know what? Yeah, I think emotions aside, I do believe that it is fair for Ten Hag to have another season, just because.
Really?
The reason why I say that is because, look, as much as I would want him, like I'd want a manager who's, like, if you told me right now, there's a manager that's going to come in, it's going to work 100% underneath these new owners, and I'll say, okay, Ten Hag, it's been nothing but love, right? There's no guarantee that's going to happen. Like you said, it's going to be a teething process where it's going to take a bit of time. I believe, unless we have a manager that is genuinely miles ahead of Ten Hag and has that relationship with the board where it seems as if they understand what their roles are going to be. Because I think, Ten Hag can look at this in two ways and be like, I'm not a dickhead, I'm going to leave because they said I'm going to have control, now it's going to be taken away from me. Or he's going to swallow his pride and say, do you know what, I want to try for the betterment of this club. Because I know if anyone, in any walk of life, bro, when you start something, you don't want to end it because they've got rid of you. You want to prove that you can be a good manager. And I think Ten Hag has that attribute in him, just based by the way he carries himself, right? But I think the reason why I'm saying give him a bit of time, is because he has not had a full club that is run the right way. We are gonna mention the players. Yes, he has contributed to some signings that I feel like have been wayward, like really wayward.
Anthony's crazy.
And most managers, you know, they sign players and it's like, doesn't work, but they have the luxury. I look at Arteta, for example. Zinchenko and Jesus have not worked really the way he probably wanted it to, but he's got Kai Havertz and Declan Rice. So he's had time to make signings that
make mistakes
and whatever. So
you get that through trust.
Yeah. And I think that is what we need to figure out. If he's trusted by the board, we as fans have to trust him. If he's not, then good riddance.
Do you think, can it get worse?
Of course. But
so you think if we got rid of Ten Hag, it can get...
I think it has to get worse before it gets better.
If
you think this is the worst,
I don't believe that.
Genuinely,
I don't believe that.
Look,
I don't believe that.
You spoke about Sir Jim when he was at the marathon. He said patience. He said it's not going to get better. He said it's not going to get better straight away. No, but...
It don't have to get worse.
It's not getting better.
Okay, do you know what worse is? Worse is
what I mean worse.
No, that level.
Not that level, but
That's what I'm saying,
I do believe worse is us not finishing in Europe.
That's fine.
Yeah.
What do you mean? As in
even conference. I don't even want us to be there.
Yeah.
I want us to play 1 or 2 games a week, and them 2 games will be cup competitions, just so we can primarily focus on being a better football club. I mean, I want us to play good football. Now, Man United have never played the greatest football, but we've played great counter-attacking football, expansive football, and we attack really well. The likes of Arsenal, they have played the best football in the Premier League, and now, and obviously of late, Man City, right? But if we can get back to a place where we focus primarily on what is happening on the pitch, I believe Ten Hag, from what I've seen in games, and also at Ajax, that he has the fundamentals to do that. Whether or not he's trusted to do something, that's the right thing. The reason... Go on, Cams.
So with how I'm seeing it, is I get what you lot are saying. And listen, I'm not even trying to do a whole Ten Hag out party type thing, There is times, I won't lie, I'm watching the matches and I'm like, it's impossible that this Ten Hag could be doing. Like, this is not Ten Hag. This is crazy. But then at the same time, sometimes I see when the players are doing, I'm like, nah, they have no instruction. So listen, I'm up and down all the time as well, right?
We know exactly what's going on.
But can I ask you, what is a Ten Hag player? So when we're saying all this type of stuff, all right, these new owners going to come in. What are they going to tell Ten Hag to? Because if it was a thing where we're trying to keep the ball, let's say we were trying to keep the ball, we're trying to be this possession team, but we have absolute dog players. At least I know, the owners are going to come in, sign some crazy technicians, and woo, we're off we go. Vice versa. If it was counter-attack, I'll be thinking, the owners are going to try bringing a Neto, a Leao. We're going to kill teams on transition. What's a Ten Hag player, bro? I think when you look at it, what's a Ten Hag? I know what Arteta player looks like. I know what Pep.
I think what's an Arteta? Well, I think the way because just the way we play, I think the way he likes to play is to have the wingers predominantly on like touchline, and then the midfielders trying to control the game, right? My issue with him is that I have not seen that at all this season.
So what was
so my thing is the way he looks like because when I look at Ajax, the way they would play was that players would rotate. Like, you know, Ziyech would get the ball.
That's a Dutch thing,
but that's the thing. I think that's what we thought it was going to be. So when you sign players like Anthony, when you sign players like, obviously, Højlund's is quite different because Højlund is, like, he's always liked having a big man up front. Like, he likes to have that focal point there and players interchanging around him, right? But when we speak about the players, we don't have those players. Bruno's a final pass player. He isn't someone who's gonna run in between the lines and play a part. Like he's a final pass, go into space.
A bit last season.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Rashford is not. I'm gonna dribble past you, and like he's literally
off the last man,
or shift and shoot. Right. So it's very one-dimensional with the way these players are, and they play. Anthony doesn't beat his player. So his thing is cutting in and taking the shot. Yeah.
But it's his thing though. So when I say to you,
so my point is, I don't know. So my point is, I don't know.
When I say, for example, like, if you know when you see a player doing well, for example, let's say Florian Wirtz, instantly you're like, that might be a Pep player. Instantly you're like, Wirtz, Paqueta, Pep. You just look at it and you're thinking,
it's synonymous with the manager.
Arteta, you know what he wants. You know he likes his jewels. You know what he wants. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So why is it when Klopp, you know what Klopp likes? High energy. Szoboszlai is what Klopp likes.
Yes, that's a Klopp
maybe
player.
He's not worked right now, but that's a Klopp player. It's the fact that we're looking at it and we're saying, okay, cool, but what is a Ten Hag player? Like, we're saying, give him the recruitment and stuff. Who is being signed for? What are we trying to implement?
Where's the proof that the recruitment works?
I saw Wilcox and the ownership want possession football. Now, okay, cool. We have got examples that Ten Hag has been able to handle a possession team in Ajax. But it's a lot different, bro. It's a lot different than Manchester United.
And said, I want them to be the best transition team in the world. That's what confused me. Because I went from Ajax to, do you know what we're going to do?
It's hot potato football. Start cooking. But it's hot potato football now.
But now he said, when he said the statement, I want to, and he spoke in when, I think this is an interview he did with Sky Sports, where he said, I have to couple up my idea of football
with the United
with the United squad that we have here and the United DNA. Brother, you're fighting demons, man.
The problem
because those three things are clashing, bro. Because the squad doesn't have the ability to play possession-based football that Ajax did. That's his style of football, I'd assume. Then the United DNA, which is attack. Then the squad can't do it. These things are not marrying up together, is my issue.
One thing I would say, or two things. One, when you're at Old Trafford, we all go Old Trafford, right?
Yeah.
The fans are not patient enough for possession football.
No.
When there's too many couple passes, this fan base start. We're Fergie.
When we pass backwards, it's a problem,
we're Fergie. Like we're all like what's the word? Like indoctrinated or indoctrinated by Fergie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're all like that, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I am not even a fan who's desperate for possession football, bro. I don't know if you man are. The only reason I say possession football is because it seems like this is what this era requires.
Yeah,
it seems that way.
Yeah,
but bro, like that's not even my forte. Like I just want cohesive attacking football.
Yeah.
Do it in whichever way you want to do it.
And sustainable.
That's exactly sustainable.
Sustainable football. Like counter-attacking football is so sustainable because you can generally be defensive throughout the whole game. You receive the ball and you know what your wingers are going to do. But that's why Bruno Fernandes, in the first season that he came to the club, was so good.
But that's the problem, though. People seem to think counter-attacking or means low block. Wait, and go. No, counter-attack, it's literally what it says in it. You're countering that. You're countering, and then you're attacking. So that could mean high press.
Yeah, counter pressing.
That could mean exactly. That could mean winning the ball in our final third, and then you're transitioning.
Yeah.
Transition football doesn't mean you're starting from Luke Shaw all the way to Marcus Rashford. That's not what it means, and that's what the confusion is. Transition means winning. You can win the ball high up. Look at Klopp, peak Klopp teams. That's a transition football team. Whether at the end of the game they're gonna still have 69% possession, but that's a transition team because they'll bait you into positions. Salah, Gini, Mane, they've won the ball and all of a sudden they've scored. It's 3-4-0. You didn't even see it.
They wouldn't do it all the time as well. When they're playing a team of lesser opposition, they will comfortably able to have their because the possession players that they have, they can have high levels of possession, pick them apart and move teams around. But that's the issue with Manchester United right now. We don't really know what Ten Hag wants.
Ten Hag aside, because I just want to know, Babs, in your opinion, do we give him another chance? Or do we cut our ties?
I didn't even touch on what you were saying earlier as well about that. It's something that I feel like a bit on SDS a little bit as well because Levan agrees with you and Liz is a bit more like you. But my thing is the streamlined point that Cam has mentioned about a club being streamlined. Does Ten Hag does he warrant that Ineos structure? You can make an argument for how bad it has been this year. And I think that you're not completely wrong. There's logic in it. Because he has had a torrid time with injuries. But over the last couple of months, I've just been struggling more and more to find faith in that Ten Hag deserves the chance to have that. When also, we didn't consider this as well. Ineos want credit that Man United are doing well. So let's say they have this project now and they do it with the manager that was already there. They get less credit than if they bring their own man. Because Ineos want to make United successful. That's Jim Ratcliffe's aim. So if he does it with the fella that was there before, it's less likely that all the plaudits go to Ineos like, oh, Ten Hag was just had a bad time and now he's set up, now he's calm. We have to think about that because egos are definitely involved. The issue that we mentioned as well, the veto issue, the fact that he has to then, that might be a renegotiation of his contract because the original contract he had
1 year on his deal left.
He got so we'll have to see what they have to do in there.
Renew his contract.
The point I'm making is there can be an argument made for keeping him in the season. I think the argument is stronger that he has probably worked his way out.
I agree. I'm not against him staying or going. That's where I'm at right now. I just want the betterment of Manchester United.
100%, whatever it takes.
And I think we all, as fans, want to. 100%. But I think when we have these agendas, get him out. Okay, what's your plan after that? What do you even understand football? I think passion and emotions is why this club are the fan bases are so split because when you go to the games, no one's viewing him. It's just
they're loving him. The street fan loves Ten Hag, by the way.
No. His decisions.
Yeah, his subs have been.
He's like taking off Kobbie Mainoo. Yeah. If you know anything at Man United, you do not take the player off.
To be fair, he's been looking tired lately.
Yeah, but he's been looking tired because he's doing way more than what he needs to. That guy he should be the way Toni Kroos plays football. Is when I give me the ball to relax.
Have a Chouameni next to you.
I'll show you. Let me find some runners. But Ten Hag aside, players. Now me and Cams obviously, and we all love these players individually, but when it comes down to our club,
What are you looking at, bro?
You sure you love Bruno?
Yeah. No, as in like we have relationships with them, but
of course,
even the other day when I was filming with Jadon and Anthony, I just kept it a buck. I was just like, we're horror right now, but I need you lot to understand that it's not no hate or anything.
I want, sorry, hate, but this is what, one thing that you just said there, people think, when we speak, they don't know if we're risking relationships, bro.
No, it's true. It's true.
But we're doing it. And it's so funny because they're the ones that will call us fake fans. These guys will die to meet these players.
Yeah.
We meet these players. We still come up on these places and still talk about them. And when we see these players, we have to justify it. We still say
same energy.
That's the thing. People don't realize that when we're doing these things, we're actually being the realist. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm elitist or something, but we are being the realist because we have an opportunity to walk in and see these people regularly, bro.
So you could do the thing where it's just mollycoddling them. Oh, no, he's my guy.
We could do that.
But I said,
that's not real.
My first time working with Cams was very like, and this is the reason why I wanted to start this podcast with Cams, because I just felt like he was very, very real with his thoughts. But then I couldn't be on the fence. And I said, I'm not going to do that no more because it takes away from what my job is to talk about football. But the reason why I'm saying about these players is because with all due respect, we support Manchester United, not the players. That's the first thing, more importantly. So they could all leave tomorrow and we'll still support the club.
Yeah, always going to be there as a fan.
That's the first thing. But there's a lot of players in that club, I feel like they've run their course at Manchester United and they've tried to implement, we can be the team to bring us back and we're not back yet, right? Yeah. In your opinion, I saw something about, I don't know if it's true because it came from a source that I never really trust, but it was like 3 players that are indispensable to the club right now: Garnacho, Højlund, and Kobbie Mainoo, right? With those 3 players, are there any other players, in your opinion, that you believe deserve to have another chance with a new manager or with Ten Hag for next season, whilst we throw the axe at some other players?
I have 5 untouchables. And
how many are you keeping though? How many players in the squad are you keeping?
There's a difference between the untouchables and like, and they might not be, because the untouchables I have are Ahmad. Garnacho actually not in it too, but Ahmad, Højlund, Kobbie, Licha, and I'm missing someone.
Bruno's your guy now.
Not being untouchable, because this links to what you said. Not being untouchable doesn't mean that I want to sell you.
Okay.
It might be Garnacho, but I'll check my tweet later on. But this squad, I look at it now, and there's so few players that I would keep rather than sell. I was speaking to off camera as well. Bruno, I love. Bruno's been at the club and won so many games for Manchester United, and has been someone who just is always there and ever present, who can always be counted on, always be ready. And when we don't have Bruno Fernandes, we look like such a worse team. I think Bruno Fernandes is a brilliant footballer, but we have to start looking at life past Bruno Fernandes. And the reality, this squad here, the ones that I would keep is probably those plus a Bruno. After that, I'm struggling. After that, I'm struggling. Dalot, I would keep about. Dalot, I'd keep.
I'd probably keep about 8 players, 7 players. I think I was at 7.
Bruno,
I'll keep Onana. I would keep Dalot. I would keep Lisandro.
Yeah, because thank you very much, brother.
I would keep Lisandro. I would keep Mason Mount.
Yes.
I would keep Ahmad, Kobbie. I would keep Højlund, Garnacho, and then, so those are the ones I'm definitely keeping. Rashford has to decide what he wants to do, right? I would probably put him around the keep. Yeah, Bruno.
Speak on it, bro. I need to hear.
Bruno's the thing about Bruno, is that I will keep him if the team's not centered around him. I don't like how the team is shaped right now, how it's all centered around him. He's one thing I'll give Bruno the massive credit for is his availability is ridiculous. ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen a player like that. So I can never knock that side of things. All these men are collapsing with injuries. He's there every single week. I have to give him credit. People think I'm irrational. I would always give people credit when it's due, right? And one thing I will give him is that he's fearless. He stands up. So I like that.
Always there to
I
ask
like
for the
that
ball. He doesn't
aspect of
hide.
him.
He don't hide ever.
Yeah, I like that aspect. So again, he's in the Rashford boat for me. I'd keep if he wants to stay, right? Probably. And then that's about it. The rest, Lindelof, Maguire, all these guys need to go. Varane, all of these guys, I would have to see go. There's a little wild card I would keep. I'd actually keep Wan Bissaka. I think, let me tell you why. I know you might be mad at that one, right? I actually think he's a good backup. He's a backup. He's a good squad player. I don't think you can get many better squad players that are just going to... He has to understand that he's going to be a squad player, though. That's the thing. He has to understand that. But I don't think you can get... I don't think it's that bad. What do you think? If Dalo's our starter and Wan Bissaka is just coming off the bench, right now we're seeing a lot of him because one, he's playing at left back, and two, he's playing a lot of games. But if it was just a thing as in Wan Bissaka's coming in for the FA Cup, Wan Bissaka's coming because Dalo's suspended, are you really like going crazy? Is it really squad changing? Like,
for me, it comes back to the same reasons why I don't want Varane or Casemiro playing. I think there's some players who are just... The reality of them is their limitations. And it's tough for me because, to be fair to you, like you mentioned earlier, it felt like Ten Hag sent him to the Wolves for a big part of last season because you just didn't see him at all. And then we utilised him for the Allen Maximum Carabao Cup final, and we used him in some kind of games. Even in that capacity, I think it represents things I don't really like about the Manchester United squad right now, which is the limitations that I talk about. Wan Bissaka is like a decent pro. He's someone who's there and he's always going to be counted on. And what he will guarantee you is lockdown on a defender. I don't have issue with that. But what more I want from my players is that what are you contributing when the ball is at your feet? What can you give me? And he has severe limitations in that.
My thing is that everyone has different reasons why I'd keep them. For example, like how I was talking like about Bruno and Rashford. I think Bruno and Rashford are the type of players that may need to... For example, let's say Bruno, because it's his age and stuff, he might need to see through our transition if you get he might have to see through our transition. Whereas, yes, okay, we're bringing in some better players around and now we're reducing a little bit of his role and then he's still going to contribute because that's Bruno.
And he could look better in that situation.
That's the thing. But it's one of them situations where if they don't want to stay, then I'm not going to cry if they needed to, if they wanted to leave. Bruno might get to a stage where he's like, okay, I haven't won a trophy. I haven't really done much. I need to move on. I need to move on. Marcus Rashford, the world is on it. We've spoken about it many times. The burden, it looks like the world is on his shoulders. So if he wanted to go and free himself, fair enough. Obviously, these two are the two that have shown the highest probably level at Manchester United. 100%. So it's a very split decision whether you want to keep them or not. Me, I'm just like, whatever. But then there's some little ones like, what's the Jadon Sancho situation? Are you guys taking him back?
I think him and Greenwood are surplus requirements. I think them two, will definitely.
That's a fucking lot of talent.
But it is. But then it's also down to the players. You know, it is. It comes down to the individual players and their situation at Manchester United. Greenwood's situation, obviously, we all know about that. But then Sancho's one is falling out with the manager now. If
his new manager come in,
he's apparently said that, you know, he would love to come back if he's not there, but that doesn't show the club at a higher standard if you're picking a player over the manager because of the fee you paid for him. So I don't think him and Greenwood will be here next season. I can only see Sancho coming back rather than Greenwood. And I think with Sancho, it will have to be a mutual understanding of, you know what,
things would have to be agreed, wouldn't they?
Things would have to be agreed.
This might be controversial, but I actually think both will come back.
You think they're both coming back?
I think both will come back.
I've seen something about Fabrizio said that he doubled down on the Mason Greenwood, that they're literally sticking to their guns about him getting sold.
You reckon?
From what we know, it's why do you think that? Just a feeling. Just a feeling. Yeah?
I feel like I've heard some things as well.
Okay.
But I think he's gonna. I think they want to keep him.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard. They want to keep him.
So Jim Ratcliffe's comments when he was first asked about it,
he wants to keep
alluded to him wanting to keep him because of the value of the asset.
I think, but as you know, wanting to do something and then understanding the scope of what that could be is two different things.
Absolutely.
So I think you have to take that into consideration.
100 million%.
I've basically heard what you guys have said about the players, right? My list is a bit smaller than that.
Okay.
Simply because I think it's not about whether or not a player wants to, what type of player. You are playing at United right now, right? And when things are going well, we loved you and we still do, but we want more. It's not about going through a rough patch and not scoring goals, because I feel like with, for example, the reason why we have leniency with Rasmus Højlund is because he's not doing what his job, and it's not his fault. The style of play that Man United have doesn't, like, he's doing too much running. He's a goal scorer. He's someone that we've seen him, his strongest suit is when he's running his behind, right? Same with Rashford. But if you're not doing that, and you was doing that, the pressure's obviously going to be high. And if you can't handle the pressure, then dip. It's a very simple thing. It's not about like whether he wants to be. What kind of leniency are we giving these players to say whether or not you're fucking playing for Man United?
No, facts.
Like you talk about pressure. When Jude Bellingham has one bad game, or he doesn't score, you see the pressure that he's under. What happens the next game?
Onto it.
He puts it in. That is the type of players that you want playing for Man United, right?
Facts.
Yeah. Bruno Fernandes, why he will always stay at the club for me, isn't because he's the greatest player in the world. It's because he fucking tries. He fucking tries. No, he actually tries. And one thing I saw is that that's the thing. I agree.
You have to make better plays. I agree. He shouldn't be on number one. Yeah, I agree.
I think on the ball, Kobbie Mainoo is a better player than Bruno Fernandes because he has that element of calm and composure, right? If you have Bruno Fernandes in a midfield full of midfielders that are good ball controlled players, it adds that spark out of nowhere. When I look at like
Bruno's got X factor.
He's got X factor. When I look at like players like for example at Liverpool, for example, like Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard wasn't a ball controlling midfield player, but he was explosive. But you had Mascherano or you had Xabi Alonso there to soften the play and make it a bit easier. And when it's time, Gerrard's there. And I'm not comparing them two, but I'm saying the impact of what Bruno Fernandes should be at this club, he possesses that. But we can't. Bruno and Rashford cannot be our best players in the club.
This is the thing. Like it's not even about them being the best players because
the ones that let me rephrase that. They can't be the players that we look to.
The ones that we rely on. Our 1 and 2 punch,
because it takes away from what the other players can offer.
And also their style of play, is suited, as I said, is suited to the countering way. So to get the best out of Marcus Rashford, we kind of have to use him as that outlet ball who's going to then in transition do some danger. In transition, when he's in his feeling it, he's one of the best in the game.
100%.
But, and another one, Bruno, he can't dribble. He can't turn. He's not that good on the half turn. He can't carry the ball through players. So what he has to do is kind of punt it. You know what I mean? He has to always try to go over the top. He has to always try. So you saw yesterday, Musiala, how many times did he just get the ball on half turn and drive his team up the pitch?
And get clamped and still get the ball.
Phil Foden does that. Florian Wirtz does that. KDB in his prime was doing that. KDB and Bruno's never been that player, right? So that's also a little bit of a limitation why I say I don't want to always play through them. But as I'm saying, it is hard, right? And as much as everyone knows, I'm trying to be fair here. Everyone knows my views on Bruno. But it is hard to kind of be like, hey, the two people who have shown the highest level at this club,
I want to just cut them,
get rid. You know what I mean? And then let's put our hope in Ahmad, who's played like 10 matches. So that is we have to kind of, I'm trying to add realism. I'm trying to be as realistic as well with these. Look, I know Shaw's going to be here next year. But I really want him to go.
He's getting on as well. You want him to go?
Oh,
heavily.
mate. Oh,
speak on that, bro.
Mate, what do I need to speak? I've been saying this for like 7 years, mate. Yo, brother, I need him gone. I need him gone immediately. He's in the same boat.
Because of what he represents or what? Because of what he represents or more because of the player?
Shaw's overrated, first of all. You guys go on as if he's the best in the world. He's not.
He's a good footballer.
Do you know what? I think he's a great left back. And I just think injuries.
Overrated how? Like, what would you?
But all this Shawberto, best left back. He's never that.
Forget about Shawberto. I'm talking about the guy can drive well with the ball.
He's decent with it.
He can cross the ball at a very good level
and gets like 1 assist a season.
But is that just because of him or because of people in the box, brother?
I mean, is he creating chances like that?
I remember under Oli. There was a season under Oli.
Yeah, because Cam started taking out when he started taking out set pieces.
I'm saying he has a high.
Just to let you know, Cam's gets. He has an agenda sometimes. And when his agenda runs,
to be fair though, but I saw him today be fair on Bruno and fair on Rashford. That's why he's agenda. That one is actually
it's there.
Do you not see Luke Shaw get on the pitch? How often does Luke Shaw play football?
No, that's my issue with him.
He's
agree with you there. That's it. No, we don't disagree on that one. When he plays on the football, do you think he's overrated as a footballer?
Yes, I do. He's not to the level that you man go on.
I don't know how.
He's not the level that Man United fans act like he is. If you guys act like he's like this rarest left back, he's not.
Not rare. I'm just saying that he's for the left backs that we've had, brother, to be fair, my issue with him, he only starts playing crazy when there's someone on his back. That's my issue with him. When there's another player who's there, who was Alex Tellers, he started moving mad. Malassi,
Butner before.
So that's when he starts moving crazy. But I don't think you could say that Luke Shaw as a left back is overrated. I think he has a lot of. He's a good.
Doesn't mean he's
a good technical player.
He doesn't mean he's shit.
No, it doesn't. Overrated doesn't mean
he's
shit.
just calm. He's not world level like you lot make out.
My thing is this. My thing is what the left backs in the world are meaty. But my thing with Bruno and Rashford, like NBA. You have your 1 and your 2. You have 2 people who you know that I can get the ball to in the clutch and they will get me something.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be those 2 guys. But because of the level they've shown me at Manchester, I can't forget the games that Bruno Fernandes won me. And I also wouldn't be myself if I didn't point out that last year Bruno Fernandes showed me a different dimension to him. I'm not saying he does the driving through or the things that came in. He showed me, and you spoke about him punting it because of his limitations. He showed me last season discipline on the ball. I can't let my eyes lie to me. I saw him someone who's there who was not controlling a game per se, but he showed me discipline and good possession decision making. Where I was like, okay, if this team develops and like you say, see us through the transition period, he could be the kind of player when the better players are brought around him, not just only contributes, it could actually facilitate him to look better. Because we know he's someone who's an athlete who can probably play for a couple more years.
For the players that I said, one thing about assists from Bruno and Rashford, right, who I think are... Bruno gets assists, and stuff, but I think the way... He's a bit individualistic in terms of him and Rashford. They both get our goals, they get assists, but they're both centered towards trying to win the game. Which is fine. I think all the other players that I mentioned are very good team players. Team is first. So many people say stuff like, well, if we sold Bruno, if we sold Rashford, who's going to score us all these goals? If your team gets better, naturally you're going to score more goals. That's just the way football is, bro. People thought, oh, if Aubameyang leaves and you bring on Jesus, we're going to score less. That's not how football works, bro. Jesus is going to score way less,
how they
but
fit together.
It's all about the team is going to improve. Yeah, I'm coming from.
But you don't think Bruno is a major part of his game is improving the players around him, or at least facilitating for the players around him?
I agree. I think Bruno, his way of trying to improve players is sometimes people look at it as a flaw of him trying to be like
force the issue.
Yeah, like
force the issue.
Bruno doesn't have or hasn't had a midfield bar Pogba that is on his level or better, in my opinion. So all the time that we see with Bruno, he is the one midfield player that is really, like with, for example, Scott McTominay and Fred. Scott McTominay this season has contributed a lot more goals, but it hasn't been...
I think Bruno's got more now.
But again, that's because of the last few weeks, isn't it? But Scott McTominay's goals have come in clutch moments, like a little header, or it hasn't been because he's been playing incredibly well. Bruno is the only player in that midfield, bar Kobbie Mainoo, that can actually say, I've had good games this season.
But one thing...
that for me says a lot about him, and this is his quote-unquote worst season. So if this is his worst, and he's had great seasons for us before, I think it's crazy for us to say he needs to leave.
I wouldn't say, like, if somebody said Bruno's... If someone said Bruno's gonna stay this year, I'm not gonna be like. But all I'm saying is just the importance of the way we play. The reason why Bruno is gonna create all these chances because they see him as you're the only one that can do it. You're the only one that can do this. Give him the ball. He's gonna force the issue. He's gonna force the issue. And my concern is that Bruno, and the reason why I said individualistic is because there could be a pass here, but Bruno says I have to do this pass. Do you get come from? I have to do, and whether that means we lose the ball, he's going to do it anyway. That's what I mean. He's obviously a team player in the terms of he runs and stuff. But what I'm saying is these two, when Rashford gets the ball, his first thought isn't, where's Rasmus? I'm going to whip it.
No, he's a goal scorer.
How can I get and ras this football? It's the reality, bro. It's how am I going to get... And to be fair, even Garnacho's a little turning into that as well. Garnacho is an individualistic winger.
He is.
He gets the ball and thinks, how am I going to score? He doesn't think, how am I going to provide? He thinks, how am I going to score?
So we need a bit more balance in that.
Understanding.
You know what, Culture Cams? You've said something.
Thank you. That's why I like...
You're talking football.
That's what I'm saying. That's why
You're talking soccer.
Yes.
Because it's true.
That's why I like
We need balance.
We need team
We need
players.
Bruno, and we need a player that, Bruno, chill. Let me feed. And then we need a winger that's going to...
And I think that will make Bruno chill more.
Though? Why come every midfield with Bruno has failed?
You know
Have we had good midfielders?
Paul
I mean, Pogba, Herrera, and Matic was a better midfield than I think we've ever put
Did he play
together.
with Herrera or Matic?
Who?
Bruno.
Well, you think Herrera and Matic were top players?
No, I'm just saying they didn't have a balanced midfield.
No, I'm just saying. What do you mean?
As in, when has Bruno played in an actual balanced midfield at Man United? He's had McTominay and Fred behind him. Then he played with McTominay and
Pogba had that as well. Pogba had that as well.
100%. He deserves that. He deserves that as well.
We're talking about one of the greatest players of all generation.
I'm just saying. I just think our midfields have taken a big hit since Bruno joined. But anyway, that might not be his fault. But
yeah, I don't think that's necessarily his fault.
Well, to wrap, boys.
Now we're gonna say Bruno next man again.
No, but
Bruno Cobby.
No, but we have all said that we can't rely on him as the one or the two. He might have to be the third best player in the team, for example.
But
imagine him as that. Though.
He
might be good.
Imagine having that as your third option. Bro.
But what we did say before we wrap, that Bruno has come out with a statement to say that he doesn't know if he'll
That's
see.
the first time he spoke.
If anything's going to change, it's going to be after the FA Cup final and the Euros. So we'll see anyway. But I think
what bid for him.
The
team has to bid for him.
I think teams will come if Bruno.
You've got to want him first.
Yeah. Oh wow. See, that's what I'm saying about his narrative.
Yeah,
he goes back and forth. He's going
back to you. You know all these. No, you know what I'm saying. All these fans.
You know it is.
Deep it.
Because Anthony Edwards has been playing well and he looks like him. He's starting to get gas. That's what Anthony Edwards.
Baby Jordan.
Deep it. Everyone's always saying, "Oh, Bruno. Like, imagine if he played for this team. Imagine if he played." Why has no one bid for him?
No, but this was his big club.
Yeah.
This was it. And through that time, it's been wasted because not just because of him, because of the squad.
But somebody bid for him then. If you're saying imagine him this, why has no one bid?
Because he hasn't made it clear.
I mean, he's not flipping Paul Scholes where his loyalty to United is ingrained.
Who thinks they bid for the captain of Manchester United, bro?
Huh?
Captain of Manchester United, bro.
Why not?
Come on, let's be realistic.
No, just became captain.
Don't listen to him. Anyway.
All right, listen. Well, he just became captain. This guy's a joke.
He's always been the captain, man. Captain.
All these players that they're saying, go and bid for Luke Shaw. Then the hell, take him if you want. Why has no one bid? Why has no one bid?
Just let him.
Why has no one bid?
He's getting on. He's getting on.
Do you know who everyone says get rid of? They say get rid of Rashford. Rashford's actually the only one that's really had real big team interest. Bid for Shaw then. Go and bid for Licha, mate. Bid for him.
No. You went too far. You went too far.
I'm just saying,
brother.
We heard you, brother. You went too far, though.
Because you was giving Matisse licks here. Don't come in there with your nonsense.
You know what I'm saying? Chill out.
Seriously, bro. You got the belt. I died. I said, that's PTSD. You got the belt. That killed me. But anyway, listen. That's our thoughts on Manchester United currently right now in regards to the way the club is right now. Situation with Ten Hag and the players that we feel like should be here, shouldn't be here next season. Please let us know in the comments. We'll put the timestamps in there as well. Massive shout out to Abs for coming through as well. Big up SCS each and every time. We'll do a crossover episode one of these days. But yeah, I've been Harry Pinero, Culture Camps, Inside Scoop. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Remember, we don't know the answers. We don't have the answers.
We don't have the answers.
We don't have the answers.
You got the answers, Sway. You ain't got the answers, Sway.
We're
just talking, man.
This is just a heartfelt rant. But yeah, stay tuned to the next episode. Peace.